Welcome to this tutorial on how to create a sequenced version of Elvis Presley's Hound dog using the digital audio workstation BandLab. Let me go through what you're going to need in order to do this project. You're going to need the printed resources that we're working on in lesson. There are 4 pages of this. So you have a bass page, a chords page, a melody page, and a drums page. You're going to put all of those parts into BandLab. The only other thing that you'll need is BandLab itself. So to do that, you need to open an internet browser. Any browser will work. I'm on Chrome. I'm going to do a new tab. And you need to put BandLab, B-A-N-D-L-A-B, into the search bar. The first match that you get should say BandLab Make Music Online. Click into that. Now mine will go straight into my logged in page because I've been to BandLab a lot of times, but what you'll need to do at this point is you'll need to sign up for a BandLab account using your school email address. All of your work will be saved onto that account, so please make sure you use your school email address, and that will enable you to move around between different computers and still access to all of your work. Now I've got the electronic version of the resources that we're using, and I'm just going to put them up on my second screen so that I can see them, but you can't because you've got the printed version. If I need to, I might bring them down again so that you can see what I'm talking about. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make this screen as big as possible without going into full screen because it messes up my screen recording sometimes. I'm going to click on the red create button in the top right hand corner and then going to set the blue button, which is new project. It will take a moment to load and it will bring up the new track screen by default. It's doing that because it hasn't got any tracks in at the moment, and it doesn't cope very well when it hasn't got any tracks. So it's asking you to add a track. All of the tracks that we're going to use are software instrument or MIDI tracks. And you can see MIDI in the corner and instrument here. So click on the green button and that's what we're going to want. That's created a new track for us. So we have one track over here. We can change things like what instrument is playing. You've got a little graphical representation down here of the keyboard. You've also got my keyboard picture in picture. And you can see that that is now producing sound when I play through BandLab. So the track that we've created is actually what we need. We're going to start with a grand piano track and we're going to put the bass part in first. Okay, that is this part here. Okay, we're going to start with that. So we've done a little bit of work in class on the 12-bar blues pattern. And the most important thing in the 12-bar blues pattern probably is the bass part because it really helps to establish which chord we're playing at which time. Remember that we only use those 3 primary chords in the 12-bar blues, chord 1, chord 4 and chord 5. And in the key that we're in, which is C, those chords are C, E, G, F, A, C and G, B, D. Okay, chord 1, I'll do that again, C, E, G. Chord 4, F, A, C. And chord 5, G, B, D. Right, now we're going to spell out those chords kind of in a bass pattern, okay? Now I'm on a mini keyboard so that you can see it nice and clearly on your screen. So I've set my transpose down or my octave down. You'll just need to move to the bottom end of your keyboard, okay? So the 12-bar blues pattern is 4 bars of C, 2 bars of F, 2 bars of C, a bar of G, a bar of F, and 2 bars of C. We've already tackled that in class. Okay, I'll do that one more time. 4 bars of C, 2 bars of F, 2 bars of C, 1 bar of G, 1 bar of F, and then 2 bars of C at the end. That gives you your 12-bar blues. And the pattern that we're going to play is a very simple bassline pattern that just moves up the chord. So on the C chord, it's just C, E, G. 4 of these. Then move to F, F, A, C. 2 of those. Back to C. 2 of those. 1 bar of G. 1 bar of F. And it should be 2 bars of C at the end, but for our pattern, the drum fills in the last 2 bars, so we're just going to play 1 C. Okay? Now, if you can't move between the different hand shapes, That doesn't matter. I will show you how to do it on BandLab to make it really simple. So the first thing that we're going to do is we're just going to record the 4 C patterns. Okay? Now, to have something to play in time with, I'm going to click here on this funny looking symbol that looks like a triangle with a stick through it. That is the metronome. And now that means when I press record, you will hear a tick, and that means that you've got something to play against. The first 4 ticks that you heard was the counting. Okay, so when I press record, it goes tick, 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 play. Right? So all we're going to do is I'm going to record 4 C patterns. C, E, G. That's it. Okay, here we go. Okay, really nice and simple. I used a shortcut there. I press the space bar to stop it. Okay, and if I put it back to the beginning, which I can do either by clicking on this ruler at the top, or I could have pressed enter, I can play it back by pressing space. Fantastic. Now, this is where we change to the F pattern for 2 bars. So I'm going to click on the ruler at the end. So bar 5 is where we want to record now. And if I click record, it will give me 4 ticks again as the count in. In fact, I think it will play the end of bar 4 for me. And then we're going to do the F pattern. FAC, twice. Okay? Press space again for a shortcut. And you can see that sort of snips them together. We're already doing a kind of editing. Then we need to go back to the C chord for 2 patterns. So I'm just going to put another one in. You can see I've got my ruler at the start of bar 7. Two of those. So we've got 4, 2, 2. Next is where we have the single G pattern at the start of bar 9, which is GBD. Just filled out bar 9. I'm going to start at bar 10. Hopefully you've worked out that this is an F pattern. Now I remembered that the C comes at the end on its own, but you could have recorded separately for bar 11 and just recorded a C there. That would have been absolutely fine. I'm just going to extend out this region just a tiny little bit so that it actually fills up to the end of bar 12, because this is where the drums are going to be, and it's a 12-bar blues pattern, so it makes sense for us to have that. Let's see if that all works by going back to the beginning, pressing enter a couple of times. Was that right? Yes, it was. We had all the patterns in the right place. So 4 bars of C, 2 bars of F, 2 bars of C, a bar of G, a bar of F, and a single F, that's the C plonk on the end. Okay? Now, I was pretty in time, been playing piano for quite a long time, but there are some tools that we can use to make ourselves even more in time, and we're going to do one of those now, and it's called quantization, or using the quantize button. So I'm going to double click on any of these. Mine's green, yours might come out a different color. This is called a region. All right, I'm going to double click on the region, and then I'm going to click in the region itself on, not on a note. If I click on a note, I'll select the note itself. I'm just going to click somewhere here, and I'm going to go select all, which is Control A. Okay. Then over here, you have a button that says quantize. What's that going to do? I can't talk. What that is going to do is it's going to put all of the notes onto their closest line, right, on the grid. And you can see that some of them are closer than others. So that one there, that's pretty spot on. That means that's in time. This one here, that's just a little bit late. Before I press quantize, though, I'm going to change this from 1/16 to 1/8. Why can't I click in here? Because I wasn't all selected. I'm going to change 1/16 to 1/8. That means it's going to go to the closest 8th note, or a quaver. Okay, then when I click on quantize, watch the notes move. Do you see how they all sort of went nicely onto the grid? Hopefully they'll all now be super in time. Change to F. Back to C. Bar of G. Now, mine's worked out really nicely because mine was pretty close in time. I've been doing this before. I'm quite experienced. You might have things wrong. You might have played a wrong note. You might have played a note so far out of time that when it snaps, it's gone to the wrong... that when it quantizes, snapping is another word for quantizes. When it snaps onto the right place in the beat, it's gone to the wrong one because it was closer to a different one than the one you actually wanted. You can edit these notes really easily. If you choose any note, you can change what note it actually is. Okay, you can change where it is on the beat. If it's gone to the wrong line, you can move it backwards or forwards. You can do all kinds of things. You can also, of course, delete stuff and re-record it. If you click in any region and then right-click, you have an option to delete. So you can get rid of any of your pieces. You can also do, if you've got some, like say you had a problem in the middle of this, you could put your playhead in the middle of the ruler. You could right-click on here. Why is that not working? He says, and then it doesn't work. There we go. You could right-click. No, it doesn't want to. There we go. You could right-click on here, and you could go slice, which then that then separates it into two separate regions. Okay, so there are all kinds of things that you can do. Sometimes it's just easier to re-record stuff. Sometimes it's easier to use editing techniques. So it's entirely up to you what you do. The important thing is that we've ended up with the bass line. But actually, I've just realized the bass line shouldn't start at bar 1. It should start at bar 2. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to select all of the regions that we've just made. And what I'm doing is I'm holding shift while I'm clicking on them. And I'm just going to move them all up 1 bar. Because the melody, the singer, starts slightly before the bass line does. And we're going to need to put that into bar 1. But that's not the next track we're going to do. The next track we're going to do is the chord track. So I'm going to click on Add Track. I'm going to go Virtual Instrument again. And it's come up with a piano track, and that is what we want. Now, I'm going to put my playhead at the start of bar 2 because that's where we're recording. The chords are exactly the same. We want 4 C chords, 2 F chords, 2 C chords, a G chord, an F chord, and C chords at the end. That pattern is exactly the same. Except this time, instead of playing a funky pattern, we're going to play them all at the same time to actually create chords. Now, on my mini keyboards, I'm going to move myself up. So I've got a different part of the keyboard. You just literally move yourself up the keyboard so you're a little bit higher. Okay, so the C chord is just C, E, and G at the same time. Okay, we're going to play 8 for each chord. Then when we get to the F chord, we've got F, A, C ready. Then the G chord, G, B, D. Okay, now again, if you don't want to have to do the chord shifts, record it as lots of separate bits, just like we've done. In fact, let's do it that way. And actually, I'll give you another way when I've finished this way of making it even simpler, which you could do with layering up tracks. So there are always things that you can do. So all I want, first of all, I want this part here. Let me show you the music. Okay, so you're in the chords section. And the first chord C, E, G, then F, A, C, then G, B, D. At the end, you can see it's all labelled up for you. So that's what I'm going to do. So I'm going to do 4 bars of the C chord, making sure I'm in my second track. Here we go. Okay, there we go. There's my piano chords. Okay, and I'm not sure if it's me playing out of time or if my computer is slightly laggy with all the recording and things that it's doing. I think it might have a bit of recording lag because I'm not normally that far off the beat when I play. So actually, I'm going to quantize these as I go. So I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to click in the region. I'm going to go Control A to select all, and I'm going to quantize them. Now you can see that that's actually messed me up. Some of them have, like, we've now got notes on top of each other. We don't want that. Most of them have gone to the right place, but these ones have gone to the wrong place because they were so far out of time. So actually, in that instance, it would be better to just re-record. So I'm going to delete that region. I'm going to try again. Let's see how this comes out. Now, I might need to do some manual changing here. So see? Some of them have been messed up. So I'm going to physically drag some of them around. Does this sound okay? So interestingly, it was just the first one which was out of time. Again, I think it's a little bit of lag. I'm not normally that far out of time. Next chord will be the F, A, C chords. 2 bars worth of this, same thing. Okay, let's see how these have done in terms of where they are on the beat. Select all, quantize. Yeah, that's turned out okay. There we go. Okay, now you might have some in the right place and some in the wrong place. So let me show you the draw tool at this stage. Let's say that I'd missed this one out. Okay, let's say that that one hadn't recorded for whatever reason. If we go over here and click on the pencil, which is just next to the mouse pointer, you can actually put notes in. Right now, it's put it in longer than I want it, so I'm going to drag the end back of it and make it shorter. But it's really, really good for fixing errors and fixing problems. It's much easier when you're actually playing live as a performer. Okay, so I could record this again for the C section, couldn't I? But I'm not going to do that. I'm going to show you another technique. I'm going to copy this by right-clicking. I'm going to copy that because I'm going back to the C chord. Then I'm going to put my playhead in bar 8, and I'm going to paste. Okay, now it's too long because the G chord comes in sooner, doesn't it? So I'm just going to drag it back. Okay, so I've just used a little bit of copy and paste. I'm going to do that again, but I'm going to cheat for the G chord. So I'm going to copy this region this time. I'm going to go here, copy, put the ruler in bar 10, and I'm going to go paste. Okay, I'm going to shorten this up like I did before because I only want 1 bar. And then you'll say to me, well, that's the wrong chord. It is absolutely the wrong chord, but one of the beauties of sequencing is we can just cheat a little bit. So it's this chord, it's this bar here, bar 10. I'm going to put myself back on the mouse pointer. I'm going to select all of these. It's another way of selecting everything. And I'm just going to drag them up. So I'm going to change the bottom note from a C to a G. And everything's gone with it. That should give us what we want. Great. I'm going to do exactly that again. I'm going to copy this bar. Copy. Put it in bar 11. Paste. This time I'm going to select all of them and drag them down 1 note because I want the F at the bottom. Okay, is this right? Let's check. And for the last one, I just want a single stab chord on a C. That's all I want. So I'm going to record that with my keyboard. Make sure I've got it. Okay, I'm going to extend this region out again. Attention to detail. Oh, look how far behind the beat that is. I think it's a bit laggy again. Yeah, he says, making excuses. So now we should have this. Empty bar at the beginning for the melody. Up to F chord. Down to C chord. Bar of G chord. Bar of F chords, stab. There we go. Fantastic. I think we need some drums. Okay, not going to put the melody in next. Going to put the drums in next. So for drums, you need this. All right. It looks more complicated than it actually is. What you probably need to do is open up YouTube, listen to the song a couple of times, really focus on the drums, and you'll hear what the drums are doing. But they are written out for you to help you out. So I'm going to I'm going to select a new track, add track. I'm going to use virtual instrument. Crucially, even though it's a drum track, I'm not using the drum machine. The drum machine is designed to build tracks from scratch for you. That's not what we're doing. We're programming our own track. So what we're actually doing is creating a drum track. So I'm going to click on where it's the little symbol of grand piano there. And now where it says instrument, I can change it. And if you go to drum kits, the top option is blues. Okay, gives you a little demo there of what the blues kit actually sounds like. And I'm going to click it so that that track is now got a blue tick next to it and it's set to be drums. What that means is your keyboard, different parts of your keyboard will now become different parts of the kits. Okay, you can actually use your actual keyboard for this. For example, if I press the S key on the typing keyboard, that gives me the kick. If I press G or F, I get the snare. But I think it is better to use the MIDI keyboard. So I've set it right to the bottom, and then this low C becomes the kick. You might need to play around with different parts of the keyboard to find the right spots. The note next to it, the D there, that is the snare. And they're the only two notes that we need, or the only two parts of the kit that we need. Okay? So, the pattern at the beginning is unbelievably simple. Okay? It's just on the beat. Now, I've put in what the drum kit actually does there. At the end of the day, if you don't get that in, so long as you play in time, it will still work as the drum kit. But I've put it in because it's quite nice to have that little cha-cha-cha at the end. Okay, so let's just record our first section. Okay, really simple. That's all I've done. Now, as with all of the other tracks, if you double-click into the region, we can quantize. So I'm going to go select all again, same as I did before. And I'm going to quantize this time. I'm going to change it. Am I? Yeah, I'm going to put it on 16th because we've got some 16th notes involved in the end of the pattern. This might mess it up. Hang on. Yep, it has. Okay, so what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to set it back to 8th. Ignore me. And I'm going to check it. And what that's done is it's messed up my 16th. Okay, so let's move that one too far away. So I'm going to move one of these and move it back a bit. Now, hang on, it won't let me do it because I think I've quantized to the nearest 16th. So I'm going to click again. I'm going to go, sorry, I said 8th. I should have said 8th. I'm going to use the draw tool and I'm going to put this one back in. Oh, why can't I put it onto 16th? Don't know. BandLab's being tricky. Let's try it again. Okay, so you're making mistakes, absolutely fine. It's what happens. I make mistakes all the time. So I'm going to do exactly the same thing again, and I'm going to re-record it. Okay, and this time I'm going to quantize to 16th. And now these are all in the wrong place. So I'm going to manually put them on the grid. But this way it won't have messed up our ending. So it's quite easy to tell where they should be. They should be on the main lines of the grid. I don't know what's faster, doing this or doing the single bars. Okay, so that's not right. We should have one there. It doesn't want to put it in the middle of the grid. How annoying. Can I change the grid? It's got the editor open. You know what? I'm just going to do a separate bar rather than messing around. Learning as we go. Okay, so I've done 3 bars of that, and then I'm going to do 1 bar of this. Okay. Now this one, very laggy. This one I'm going to do 8ths, which have all gone to the wrong place because it was so laggy. Oh no, this has all gone terribly wrong because it's quantized that one as well. Deary me. I'm going to have to quantize in between recording. I'm really messing things up now, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, let's try this again. Okay, so let's quantize that. Onto 8th. There we go. Now I'm going to do another track starting at bar 5. There we go. And this one, just going to do those ones there. Just going to select those. And I'm going to change this to 16th. I'm going to click quantize. And now we've sorted it. See, there's always a way. There's always a way. There we go. So that caused me a few problems, but that's what it's all about, learning as we go. So the crucial thing that I did was I did this one first, then I quantized it on 8th, and then I did the last bar and I quantized it on 16th. Now, all we have to do now is copy both of these. So I'm going to select both of these regions by shift clicking, and I'm going to go copy, put it into bar 6, paste that, okay, and that one will work fine. Okay, now the last time through is a little bit different, so I'm just going to record it. This time, okay, it's quite hard to do on the keyboard. We might actually, well, actually, should we draw it in? That might be easier. Let's start with what we had before. Changing my mind here, going off my plan. Going off my plan, trying to make your life easier. Going to paste this. There we go. Shorten it. And digga, bomb. That's what we need in here. So I'm going to right click in the track itself, and I'm going to create a region. Right, going to line it all up so it's nice and neat. And then this region here, we're going to want the snare drum, which we can see is this one here. And we're going to want a note on every chunk. And I think that's what we're after. Let's just have a look. Nope, that's not what we want at all, because we're on 8th grid and I should be on the 16th grid. Hang on a second. Digga, don't. How do I get a 16th grid? How do I? Can I put another one in here? No. Interesting. I'm going to have to record it manually, I think. Right, so change of plan again. For the end section, I'm going to do it really quickly. And we want the final bass drum. And then there's 2 more at the end, actually, so this might be easier. Okay, so you've got 2 extra ones at the end. Digga, bomb. It's strange that I can quantize to 16, but I haven't got a grid of 16. Really, really strange. And I can't put things on the grid. We're finding the limitations of BandLab, I think. That just sounds dreadful. Right, let's quantize that. By selecting all of them. I'm going to drag it all. Ah, okay, that might work. Sometimes you have to work around things. So I've pulled it all back. So if I quantize that to 16th, there we go. We found a way. They're just a little off the beats. So let's move them manually. There we go. So that gives us our full sequence that we're after. There we go. Fantastic. Okay, so now we've got our fourth part to put in. The most difficult part to play is the melody. Okay, here we go. So, you ain't nothing but a hound dog. Excuse me, I am not Elvis Presley. I'm not a singer. Okay, but that's the bit that we're actually putting in now. I would put it in the video, but I'd probably get a copyright strike on YouTube, so I'm not going to do that. Or the video might get blocked or something, not necessarily give me a strike. But anyway, so we're going to put a fourth part in, or a fourth track in. Again, it's a virtual instrument. And I'm going to leave it as piano. You might want to decide that you want to do a different instrument at this point. But I really don't like the synthetic voices. They sound awful. Okay, so let's just remind you, or show you, in fact, how this goes. All right, you don't need many notes. The notes you need are D, E flat, C. Let's do it in little chunks. Okay, so that's you ain't nothing but a hound dog. So it's D, 5 E flats, 2 Cs. And that's the bit that comes before the rest of it actually starts. So I'm going to put the ruler to bar 1 this time. And I'm just going to record that much. Okay, nice and simple. You might need a bit of practice. I'm going to quantize. I'm going to go 8th. Oh, no, I'm not. I'm going to go 16T. No, I'm not. Okay, that's really, really messed it up. Mine's really laggy. Hopefully yours won't be. Let's just sort of record that again, actually. It's because I'm on the internet and then I'm recording at the same time and the audio's got latency on it and all kinds of things. So hopefully yours won't have this problem. Let's just try that again. Felt like I played it bang on time. I didn't play the last note. That's no good. Try it again, Mr. SC. Okay, that'll do. Okay, now be careful with quantizing this because it's a jazzy, swingy kind of rhythm. And because it's swing, that's a different type of rhythm. That's why I tried the 16T, because that stands for triplets. But even that's not quite right. So I'm just gonna let's say we don't quantize this track. Right? We quantize the other ones, but we record this one as many times as it takes to get this one correct. I, for some reason, have lost my resources. Where have they gone? Hang on a second. Desktop's doing all kinds of crazy things now. Okay, so the second section is this bit here, which is E, G, A, C, C. So it's crying all the time. Right? Now we're going to hear our first bits. And we're going to record. Let's see how that turned out. have I ended up with weird notes in the piano? Did I do something strange? What's gone on there? Oh, I did a random extra one at the end, it seems. Yeah, sometimes these things happen. I couldn't see it in the graphics. Now, for the second bit, we can record, we can copy. So I'm going to click into here, because it's the same thing twice, a bit like the original part was. I'm going to paste. There we go. Let's just check this sounds okay. Okay, so we've done the same section twice. Then on the third time through, that's this bit. Oh, where's it gone? My screens are messing me up at the moment. Where'd it go? Oh, my Mac's being funny with multiple desktops. I've completely lost that. Where's it gone? Has it closed it? I think it must have done. Hang on a tick. Well, it says I'm still on it, so I must be on it, but I don't know where it's gone. I don't know where it's gone. So, da 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 da. Okay, so there's lots of E flats. It's actually only 3 notes. Let's slow that down a bit. So E flat, E flat, E flat. Lots of Ds, 8 of them. E flat, D, C, D, C, C. Well, you ain't never had a rabbit and you ain't no friend of mine. That's what we're after. Okay, that's the last section that we're going to put in. By all means, practice these a lot. What am I doing with my screens now? I'm all over the place. There we go. So there is our recorded version of Hound Dog. Forgot the title of what we were doing there for a second, so I was concentrating on too many other things with my screens. Turn the metronome off, so you can hear your sequence version. Quite a bit of lag on my melody, which is throwing it off. But I think on your version, as long as you've recorded it properly, you won't have that issue. So there we go. So that's it. So that's what I want you to create. I want you to create a 4-track version of Elvis Presley's Hound Dog. If you do that insanely quickly and faster than all of your peers, do talk to me about, or your teacher, because it might not necessarily be me, do talk to your teacher about about what you can do next. And I shall see you in the next one of these videos for the next project. See you later, everybody.